Let's fire up the Futures Fanatic afternoon power hour stream. Actually got started a little early. Well, no, I set it for noon. Sorry. I meant to set it for 12:15. But anyway, welcome. We're going to do sort of day 2 of the what I thought was going to be a soft PropShop launch, but it's been a little hectic and cluttered. And these things are never perfect. So I'm here today to answer some questions. Not all the questions about it, but God knows, I don't know if anyone wants to sit through those 2.5 hour plus webinars. So I'll give it all to you right here. So essentially, you guys can sign up right here at and then I'll go through a lot more of this today, but it's basically this link right here, right there, tradersdevgroup.com/PropShop, and you'll be all set. And I'm here to tell you a little bit about the pros and cons of the program. It's very, very new, but the main benefit of going with what we got going on here, well, you're here watching the stream, so thank you very much, is that everyone that is a member of TDG or just signs up for even a single account over at PropShop, I'll give you a link to where you can get access to this desktop that you see here, and it's one-click install. So it's a one-click install of this desktop, and you are good to go. I'm also going to do like an informal little challenge with everybody. Since this is a total fresh start, should be a fresh start for everyone, gives you the opportunity to actually see if you can do this somewhat similar to what I teach and train and talk about here. And by that I mean you get yourself 1 or 3 or 5. I would highly recommend not buying more than 5, but you do whatever you want to do. And I would use the evaluations that are 90% off. I know there's some listening to my voice that are going to want to buy the straight to funding ones and all that kind of stuff. So just buy the inexpensive 90% off. The ones that I bought here were $24 each, okay? And I'm going to do a little challenge where we pass these within 30 days. Normally, I would say 60 to 90 days for $100,000 to make $6,000 per account, but you can already see that I'm up almost 1,000 in this one and 900 in this one, and these I was just testing something else. Had some issues with the bands today, which I'll talk about. We did get that fixed. So try to do this. See if you can do this so that your numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and your funded accounts are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can do this. This is a little challenge I do with almost all the firms when I first start out is, let's have the first account we ever buy be the same account that we fund. All right? And if you do that and you do anything close to what I'm talking about, even if you're not a member of my community or anything like that, if you want to use my codes and do something completely different, obviously that's fine. But see if you can do something close to this and follow along. And if you want to actually follow along, you can come into my trade room. And why I decided to not do a extended trial forever, because that just didn't work out last time. Unfortunately, there's just a lot of people that take advantage of that. Even if they have the financial means, they don't want to pay for anything until they, are forced to or kicked out. So we're not going to do that, but you can come into my trade room and check it out. What I will do is give away these workspaces that you see here. All right, I'm going to give away these workspaces. I'm digging what's going on. I don't know if there's a little tariff talk. We did have so I'm just going to go ahead and buy these little pullbacks here, so we get some trading going on while we're talking.
Position open.
This is in the NASDAQ, baby. The NASDAQ, it could all go to hell, right?
Order pending.
All right, so there you go. I've dropped in there the launch code that you use is the same one. I don't have my own code yet, so you're going to do this right here. It's called Launch PST90. I'm not sure why they put it at the bottom. They should have put it at the top. So one of my suggestions for them was put the damn code all over the place so you can't if I make any money today while we're talking and doing all this, you'll know that the TDG way works. PST90, there you go, that's the code. Just make sure you use, okay? All right, so let's see. Oh, we already made money. Sell at market. I'm going to sell at market.
Filled.
Just I never
Position
sell at market,
closed.
but let's sell this. Sell the ask. See if we get a fill.
Order pending.
Ah, see it's going down. Lots of movement.
Order modified.
Hit me,
Order
baby.
filled.
There we go.
Position
All right.
closed.
Okay, we're out. Yeah, not lots of nice movement. Good day to be doing this. While I'm here to answer the questions that I do know about PropShop, I want to tell you that most of the questions that always come in have to do with a trading style that is not appropriate for prop trading. Let me say that again. Most of the questions have to do with a trading style that's not appropriate for prop trading. Let me tell you one of the features that I do really like so far, and then I'll tell you some of the things that are not so great. So the dashboard's nice. There's many that have dashboards that are like this, but if you go down to your trades, so for instance, let me take a look at the trades from the 23rd. I've had these accounts a little bit longer, and then I bought 3 more. You see how these trades where it says compliant? It's kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool. So you have something that tells you if the trade is compliant. So in real time, it's not quite real time. At the end of the day, they run a batch, and then they tell you, hey, were those trades compliant? And all these trades are compliant. And I also just wanted to know, look, a lot of people look at what I do and say it's just super active scalping. Well, I mean, I don't know. This trade I held for 11 minutes, 1 minute, 21 minutes, 17 minutes, 19 minutes, 7 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 2 hours and 33 minutes, 23 minutes, right? Let's take a look at some day where I lost. 14, 21. Here's a trade for 22 seconds. But that's rare, right? Now look, you don't have to trade anything like me. In fact, you shouldn't trade like me. The whole idea is to develop your own situational fluency, think risk first, all those good things. Here is, again, the dashboard. So pretty straightforward, right? But back to what I was mentioning before, it's not going to be an official competition or challenge or free access to my trading room until you pass and all that stuff. But if you are have no interest in anything other than tuning in here just a little bit, or you can't be in a trade room or all that stuff, fine. But my challenge to you is if you're going to do anything with PropShop, that you try to use it the right way. A lot of what they're promoting and pushing is not really any different than any other firm. So the only real advantage at this point that I think you have here is you have this 90% off. And I know that Apex does it. I know that Bullinox does it. I know that Elite Trader Funding does it. But try a new firm. Try something new. I can't say the program itself is going to be that much different for the vast majority of the traders, because the vast majority of traders don't know what they're doing and they never get to much of the payout phase. And if they do, it's super erratic, and they're fighting with the firm all the time because their trading was erratic and their P&L was erratic, and they want to say that, you know, well, screw you. I finally managed to get through the program, dancing between the raindrops and with your draconian rules, and now you're giving me a hassle. Well, how about do it somewhat differently? Slow and steady, trade micros, use something like this, which is mean reversion trading. By the way, over here on the S&P, for you that are familiar with this strategy, you see how we almost got to T-line? See, we almost got a T-line touch. We didn't get close to it here on the NASDAQ, and on the Dow, we went right through it and then right back up. So there was a T-line touch opportunity here. I actually did buy it and was long over here. Oh, whoops. Jesus, it's going to start this song. You go over to that thing, if you have this song active, it starts the song. All right, so some questions here coming in. I bought one Saturday. Yes, it is true. There's limitations in Europe for right now. I know that sucks, and I agree with the feedback that it would have been nice if they would have mentioned that right up front before the whole long presentation. There are good reasons for that. As Sean emphasized both days, they really are a stickler for regulation with this entity. and they want to be doing things 100% correct. And when they're operating out of Canada and the US and Europe, there's different regulations everywhere. The futures market in the US for prop is still the biggest for futures. And for Europe, it's still CFDs and FX. That's changing. So I would expect that there'll be the opportunity to participate in their program at some point in the near future. But again, the positive side here is that the upside is going to be, this is probably going to be one of the first firms that from the very beginning operates in both worlds and can offer CFDs to non-US clients. There's some advantages to CFDs. I'm not a huge fan of them at all because I like to work with the direct feed. But when you combine everything that's happening here with the NFA and CFTC and the CME, especially the CME, who charges outrageous fees for their data and might not let people have access to futures data if they're not trading live in fast fashion. So in other words, PropShop's one of the few firms that from the beginning will be able to adjust to any potential future regulations regionally, and I think that's really actually a really good thing. They also waited a long time to raise quite a bit of money. I'm an investor in the parent company, not of PropShop, but of TickBlaze and NeuroStreet. I didn't want to invest in the PropShop because I just felt that would be too much of a direct conflict. Also, I don't get my accounts for free. If anyone cares, I paid the same thing. I paid $24 for 5 of them, so $125 is my cost basis. And as I said at the very beginning, if we start this the right way, then we'll be all set. All right, let me see if there's some other questions in there. Is there a way to trade? No, you cannot trade PropShop accounts through Ninja. The only accounts that you can trade through Ninja will be accounts, prop firms that have a relationship with Trade-Evade. And as I mentioned yesterday, and I know a lot of people don't care about the inside baseball stuff, but I'm a little bit more knowledgeable than almost everybody in this business. So if you listen to me ramble, I'll tell you some things that are important. The Trade-Evade costs at some of the firms are probably unsustainable. I'm not saying they're going out of business. I'm not saying that, somebody like a Alpha Futures or a Legends or whatever is not capitalized enough to handle the whole thing. But Trade-Evade is charging a ridiculous amount of money, Ninja, Trade-Evade, whatever. And it will be unsustainable for these prop firms to continue to offer that. That's why at some point we'll be offering a different OMS, that stands for Order Management System, an alternative to the TickBlaze, to the Trade-Evade TradingView Ninja thing that has taken a stronghold. That being said, I'm still going to be trading over here on Ninja, of course, and I'll have my Ninja Trade-Evade multi-prop thing going on as well. So the world that I'll be looking at is multi-propping on Ninja with the prop firms that support Trade-Evade, and then using TickBlaze for Rhythmic firms. So question, can you connect Bullinox or Take Profit or the Futures Desk or any firm or Elite Trader Funding or any firm that supports Rhythmic? Yes, you just go and log in, create a connection. TickBlaze supports this concept of a broker connection along with a data connection. Now, we know that the prop firms are not technically brokers, but you think of it that way, like that's your broker. We know it's just sim trading over there, right? But you connect to, and now I have purposely kept this really simple just to start. So all I have is a Bullinox connection and a PropShop connection, but I will eventually have about 15 different firms from Rhythmic here as I test everything and interchanging and test the installations of our methodology. Because what I'm looking for is a way to make this new platform, if you haven't used it, really, really easy to use if you're already familiar with Ninja. Honestly, if you're familiar with any desktop platform, I want to make it so that's like one, because real quick, if you sign up for PropShop, I'll give you the templates for TickBlaze. Okay. If you are a member of TDG, you'll get the TickBlaze environment. For those of you that are not able to sign up for PropShop because you're in Europe or Asia or somewhere else, So I'll give it to you there. But basically the connections are right here. And you could technically trade with PropShop data and trade your Apex accounts if you want. So there you go. Nothing's happening here. We really slowed down. We had a little bit of movement for a moment. Let's go back to the instrument that we should focus on, which is the Dow Jones. Put in an order at the lows that we just made, which are when we blew through the T line there, and put an order down to -2s, which is 42,176. Give me one in the chat if you were G or G, big G or G plus today. In other words, profitable. If you had a profitable day, especially if you were G plus, if you had a profitable day that exceeded your risk budget, that would be great. Can I turn on closed captioning subtitles, please? I think you turn that on. Don't you turn that on? I have it set so that if someone can tell me how to turn it on so it's happening for everybody, but I believe that the captioning is something that you turn on. That's how it works for me. Let me know if there's a way to do that. Let me see here. What are the prices? Looks like I need to register to see them. I think you do, but I'll give you a sneak peek if you want. So we come over here to the dashboard, and we go to shop. And again, you do whatever you want to do, but I think there's a real value to going through the evaluation process. So these are the evaluations. So what I did was buy the 100. You'll see they don't offer a 150. But here's one of the subtle differences that I think is kind of cool, especially when it's 90% off, right? Is if you want a true one-to-one profit objective to drawdown, god dang it, Cleveland just fucking scored. Hold on. It would be so much cooler if I just turned this into a sports betting environment. Why don't we do that? We don't always have a baseball game on at this time, but it's an afternoon day game, and now I can chew in your ear too. So there you go. So for the 100K, you can get a $5,000 drawdown, $6,000 profit objective, which is pretty damn good. I think this one only costs you like $20 or a little less, $15 maybe. I bought this one right here just to screw around. I'm not flexing or whatever, gang, but I could pass a $100,000 thing doing micros the TDG way, 2 to 4 micros in 2 or 3 weeks honestly, I could do with a $1,000 drawdown. The risk budget that I'm going to use on these accounts is $880, and I've only hit $880 risk budget like 5 times in the last 5 years. So if you're hitting it a lot, you're hitting smaller risk budgets, which is a great lesson to learn. Have the discipline to just lose a little bit or close to. So, for instance, if you did these and you did it the TGG way, you could start with a $550 daily risk budget. Does that make sense? 10% of this value right here. If you are interested, here's what the bigger ones look like. These instant gladiators, whatever. So these are basically bundles where you can buy one or you can buy a bundle. This just makes me mental, but whatever, if you dig it. And I understand you add the activation fee. I don't know what the activation fee is. Did anyone watch the whole thing? I don't know what it is. I'm sure I could look. I don't really know. I know that in all these programs, I keep my cost per account to about $200. Usually $200 or a little less. All in. So if I buy something from a take profit where they include the activation fee, the 150s are like $250 or something like that, maybe $200, I can't remember, with a 30% discount. So all these prices are somewhat similar. Now, down the line, I know this isn't important to people right now, but I can tell you for a fact that PropShop is the first one in existence that is properly capitalized to actually take real risk-adjusted traders, regardless of whether you're making even really big bucks, to live accounts with real money in them, not just covering the margin. That is super important differentiator here, folks, because on the front end, they look like everybody else, and that is true. And that's the way you go to market, because you can't go to market by saying, hey, we're going to do this properly and we're going to work like real prop, which means if you want to work with SMB Capital or Jump or Citadel, you can't work with Jump and Citadel, but like an SMB Capital or a T3 Trading, sure, no problem. Deposit $25,000 or $50,000 and we'll give you as much margin as you'd like, buying power depending on your skill set. Well, I don't know, silly me, a lot of you guys probably don't want to deposit $50,000 with a firm. But PropShop is the first firm that really will be able to take traders live in ways in which Apex and others are just not going to be able to, because their business just got too big and they're all upside down in terms of being able to take people live. So if that's something that you care about, then that's another reason to potentially establish a relationship with these guys. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the way the program is that you see in front of you is vastly differentiated from a lot of other things out there. And if you like Tradeovate and Ninja and TradingView and you don't want to learn a new platform and you don't like Rhythmic, then it's not the firm for you right now. They will eventually support DX Feed, and those of you that have interactive brokers, which is what everyone should aspire to, in my opinion, and I'll say that again, everyone doing this should aspire to have an interactive brokers account with as much money in it as you can put in it. Because that's true real trading. That's a hybrid between retail and institutional. That's proper margins. You can do everything you want there. You shouldn't be building your business at Tradeovate or Ninja or at AMP. I love when I see these guys that are like, show me your statements, show me this, show me that. I can show you a statement. The only statement I'm going to show you is a tracking account in Interactive Brokers with $7,500 in it. Because that's closer to what we're doing here. But the aspiration should be to trade live with a real prop firm until such time as you can grow up your accounts to that. And that number, in my opinion, to earn a real full-time living on a risk-adjusted basis is about $300,000, $350,000 in the futures markets. With that, if you do things properly, you can do that. And many of these programs have a path to earning that within 2 to 3 to 4 years. I know there's people taking $1 million payouts and all this nonsense. How about just work your way towards covering your costs and supplementing and complementing your income and those types of things. Anyway, that's the prices here. I don't know if you have any questions about that. Back to the markets for a second. Nothing is happening. There's a text in the help section that said European traders. I don't believe that European traders are allowed on this launch yet. So for this particular launch with a 90% off and everything we're doing, but the best thing is to check with the firm. I have 4 platforms open on my main machine. I'm answering a question about kind of my setup. I have 4 platforms open on my main machine, and then I have 6 instances of virtual machines that I open from time to time and do things in. Some of them are running algorithms. One of them is doing market making. But everything that you're seeing on the screen right here is just on my main machine. And I have an Alienware 128 gigs of RAM, i9 or whatever the hell. It holds up pretty well. No, the instant gladiators are not 90% off. Those are I had those up on the screen. So we're here on the gladiators. These are published here at basically between 40 and 55% off when you buy a bundle. You know what would be real dedication would be buy one of the bundles, the $50,000, you could buy 5 of them for $1,435. With the $50,000 though, your daily risk budget is probably somewhere around $250 to $300, a little more depending on your skill set. Please, please, please don't buy these things and do anything differently than what I'm showing, or don't use my code. Just go somewhere else. Because what I would like to do is build a cohort that finds me on YouTube or is part of our community, and I really can go to bat for you if you have some problems. Not on stupid little connection issue. I'm not going to be customer support, right? But when it comes to folks that are doing this right, if you do encounter any kind of issues, and again, I don't think you should encounter issues because, as I showed before, you're in almost real time at the end of every day, you can look at the status. I have no trades in this account because I just started it today. You can look at the status of every trade and make sure it was compliant. They outline everything here in terms of what you can do and what's considered safe. Please read this because you see this. You see what's considered safe? So many of the questions yesterday and today, how can I trade? How many can I trade? Can I DCA? Can I do this? Can I do that? I feel like coming on and just gaslighting you all. All right, so let me see. And then text, I don't know about that. 90% off, no. Are you trading all these? I just answered that. Can Replicanto be used on Tradeovate? No, Replicanto is a Ninja Trader plugin, but you can connect to Tradeovate on Ninja Trader. So Carlos, go to my website and read this blog post. Go to my website and read one of these 2 blog posts. How do I just reply? Anyway, read the blog posts. Closed captioning, I don't know. Did someone tell me how to do that? We can figure that out. Not available in Europe for compliance reasons right now. Right, I agree. There's TradeSyncer, which is a good copier. It's just expensive. You passed your first ever evaluation today. That's awesome. How long did it take you? Hopefully it wasn't one day and you didn't trade minis. I'm seeing you in NT and not PropShop. Let me see what screen I'm on. Sorry. That is correct. Let's go back to PropShop. Sorry. So, thank you. I don't know how long I was on the NT screen, but here we are back in PropShop. Thank you. Can we still trade if you're traveling to another country? No, I don't think it's IP restricted. Not as far as I know. I think it has to do with your login and by the way, if you do decide to do the Gladiator things, there is a KYC process, which is really important. And KYC is not always super simple. You know, you scan the damn passport or your ID, and then you provide this, and then you rub your belly, and you provide some. You ask your mom for the umbilical cord, and then you still don't get approved. So I don't know, but the KYC is something you need to do if you're going to do the direct accounts. All right, let's see if we get a fill here
Order
at the
modified.
-2s, 42,171. All right, I've already covered the European thing many times. I think the activation fees are like scale. They scale from like 1 to 400, but I don't know exactly. You can just go look. Yeah,
Order
TickBlaze is included in your
Position
subscription. If you use my code
Position
and
synchronized.
check back, I'll be
Position
providing
open.
some
Order
forms in the
filled.
description to where we're starting to get filled on a few things. Let's see what's happening. Things are waking up. Things are waking up. Uh-oh. It was the NASDAQ. That's what did it. I was feeling frisky. I don't want to be in the NASDAQ here, folks. But we'll let this go down and fill at the 400, which is right around. Let's get a little bounce here and just sell the ask.
Order filled.
Okay.
Position closed. Order filled. Position closed.
All right, so we're here over here. Friends don't let friends trade the NASDAQ. If you're just starting out, read my Prop Done Right ebook.
Order modified.
Know that, let me turn the Prop Done Right ebook thing on over here. Oh, it is on already. So the description down below is loaded with all kinds of good stuff. I just went back to NT. No, for right now, I'm reading the chat from a while ago. I'm on PropShop right now. It looks a lot like NT, doesn't it? I do not believe there's any web-based platforms. The platforms are all Rhythmic, so most Rhythmic platforms are. So here's the platforms: TickBlaze, Quant Tower, Multicharts, Rhythmic, Addis, Sierra Chart, Bookmap, and MotiveWave. Some of you might know whether some of these platforms do provide something that's somewhat web-based or is using like a hybrid thing. I'm unaware of it. To my knowledge, all these things are Windows thick client desktops. How do I download your chart layout on TickBlaze? I was hoping I could get it done ahead of time, but all you have to do is buy any prop program, any PropShop account, and then I'm going to use the honor system. So during this launch, I do have access to the emails of people that buy. That's it, not what you bought or how much you bought or anything like that. I'll just have access to your email, and I'll send an email out to everybody with this desktop. It's a one-click desktop. You'll have everything here. What I have set up is MES, MNQ, MYM, M2K, MCL, MGC, and MBT. By the way, did you see MBT down here? Now, of note, you cannot trade MBT or the treasuries yet on TickBlaze, so you can't trade them on TickBlaze. But if you connect to Bullinox or Apex or one of the firms where you can trade them on TickBlaze, you can obviously trade them, just not PropShop. So the way you get access to it, and if you're in Europe or you're somewhere else, I can't help you out at this time with that, but if you're interested in checking out my trade room, if you become a member of my trading community, I'll provide all of the TickBlaze info over there. The rebill I asked about and I didn't get an answer. I was trying to get an answer on a few things. So questions about the rebill and confirming the automatic rebill at the same price plus the plus a reset. I would hope that that's how they did it. I can't confirm that yet. So let's make sure we ask that question again tomorrow. I'll be streaming tomorrow and Friday so we can get through the bottom of this because the sale ends on Saturday. So if anyone knows the answer to that and you're sure you know the answer to that, you can put it in there. I don't know if the rebill is at the same price. I will tell you that right now Apex is running a 90% off sale, but the rebill is at 50%. So I didn't promote that. I hope people that might have bought it know what they're getting into. I'm not a huge fan of having to rush. The name of the copy trader included in with PropShop is called ETP. It's great. It's a platformless copier, so it'll allow you to log into multiple Rhythmic connections and pick a lead account, maybe something from PropShop, and use that to drive trades to other Rhythmic accounts. Okay, thank you. So PropShop Trader is here. 90% is ongoing and does not increase on the second month. Awesome. So someone from is that you, Ashley? Or someone from PropShop's here. So I better be on my best behavior. So ask questions away. We have a representative for PropShop that can answer those questions. So if your count is blown, you do get a reset. We're not blowing any accounts, everybody. I started this today. Let's do this. Let's do a little challenge with me, okay? Do a little challenge. Get one account, get a couple accounts, have them start with W001. Yours should look something like this. I don't know, obviously your numbers will be a little different. All right? And let's start and pass the very first one we ever own. Let's do that. You guys can do it. Brand new, fresh start. If you're listening to my voice, I don't want to be delivering a bunch of drunk monkeys over to another prop firm. It doesn't do anybody any good. Okay? All right. So same price. We got that. Yes. Hi, Ashley. Okay. Micro Savant, you should be able to do that. Yes. If you have a Rhythmic connection to Ninja. But yes, PropShop's Rhythmic, so you can connect using ETP to Rhythmic and drive trades from an external source. There are some firms like Bullinox, I've been told, are frowning on that and do not want that. And I would try to keep your world as simple as possible. So I would not be using Ninja to drive Rhythmic copying just because Ninja is not very Rhythmic friendly anymore. I know there's, there's 10 or 15 firms that are grandfathered in on Ninja and also, Trade-Evate. So they have the whole holy trinity of Ninja, Trade-Evate, TradingView, right? Which is a very compelling combination. What I'm doing here to make this compelling is, again, offering my workspace here. That's one click and it's installed. You don't have to install the Renko charts separately. You don't have to install any of the indicators separately. You literally don't have to do anything except install it. By the way, I'll provide some training on this, but you go to Menu, Tools, Import Resource. That's it. Connect to data, connect to a broker, and you're done. And then watch how fast I can teach you this, right? So we'll look at, we're looking at Bitcoin, which is not something you can trade. So let's look at, okay. Buy or cover shorts here. Sell or get short or cover longs here. Stay out of the middle of the muck or use VWAP as a target. There you go. Just taught you the strategy for this one. Remember, buy here, take profit here. Let me show you something I was showing yesterday, which is, and by the way, these bands are a little screwed up today. They're not quite exactly right. There was an issue that we found this morning, so their development team is aware of that. So let me just see what they are. 50, we're pretty close. 59.10, and on Ninja I'm showing 59.07. So they're like 2 points off here, okay? Anyway, let's say we get long right here, right? Where's my big arrow? Big white arrow. Okay. We get long right here at the -2s, 59.10s, right? And our target is right up here. Oh, there's the market on close. So they're selling a little bit. Our target's right up here, right? So let's talk about dynamic.
Position open.
All right, hold on a second here.
Order filled.
Yikes. Yikes. All right, 1 second here.
Order filled.
I just want to get flat
Order
over here on
filled.
Ninja
Order
and then.
filled.
All right, we're long.
Position open.
Did we want to be long? I don't know.
Order filled.
They're selling off. Market on close. All right. So we would have been stopped out here on this entry, but let me finish my little lesson here, okay? So your entry is right here, and then we're going to use the ruler. Ruler right here. Everybody wants to rule the world. All right, we go from there up to here, and it is 10 points, right? Not much. What does that say? Change bars. I'm trying to measure 50, it's 10 points, yeah. 10.2 points. So if you got long here, this is a very narrow range today. If you got long here, by the way, let me just close this so I'm not distracted. I'm just going to close that.
Position closed.
We're closing it. We're closing it. Closing it down.
Order filled. Position
All right.
closed.
So this is 10 points. If you want a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio, you'd put a stop 10 points below here, which would be 59.01. You wouldn't have been stopped out yet, even if you got long there, okay? Now, there's a reason that we got outside the bands today very easily, because the range today has been terrible. We've had some movement within a very narrow range, but the range overall has been pretty terrible. So again, no one teaches something as simple as that. Dynamic target, dynamic entry. We're going to go down and maybe retest the same lows that we had there before. Let's look on the ES. So the ES, this is a long right here, so I'm just going to, with very little time left in the day,
Order pending.
get long right there.
Order pending.
All right, cancel all these
Order
orders.
canceled.
There we go. All right, see if we get a fill down there at 58.99. This outside the bands here, right? This will be on this order right here.
Order filled.
All right. For right now, I don't have a code, so you're just going to use the code. If you sign up, just sign up using tradersdevgroup.com/PropShop. But the code is the code that's on. The code is the code that's right here. Let me make sure I don't have any top step positions open. Yikes, I do. Yeah, see that? I forgot. All right.
Order filled.
I'm gonna pass these five these top step X ones for I haven't done this in a long time, but I want to have 5 XFAs
Position
too.
open.
All right, we got our MES.
Position synchronized. Position closed. Order filled. Position open.
So the code is launch PST90. Launch PST90. I wish I had a custom code too. All right, look at this expansive candle. They're scaring the kids a little bit here. The question is, can we handle the heat? All right. I'm gonna buy the bid here.
Order pending. Order
Buy the bid
filled.
here.
Position open. Order
And buy the
pending.
bid here.
Order filled. Position open.
And these might be very short-lived
Order filled.
trades. We'll see.
Position open.
Oh, we already broke even here. Made a little money here. Sell the ask.
Order pending.
Who needs a
Order
copier?
Position
You
closed.
can just do this manually.
Order filled. Position closed.
There we go. Right back down. Is Rhythmic data included? Yeah, the Rhythmic is included. It's included in all prop firms. You're going to get data included in all prop firms. Not level 2, but you get everything you need to do what you're seeing on the screen right now. So that's included. I want to be sure I can buy 3 accounts on PropShop and attach it to Replicanto. No, you can't. So to be clear, you can't. You can't use Replicanto. How do you load the template into TickBlaze? I've shown that before. You go to Menu, Tools, Import Resource. Menu, Tools, Import Resource, and I'll deliver it to you as a zip file. All right, what do you think? Sell the ask here? Let's do it.
Order pending.
Oh, we just missed it. I'm going to drag
Order
it into price.
modified.
Things
Order
are moving.
filled.
Things are moving around.
Position closed.
I'm going to buy more on the if we go back and revisit.
Order pending.
Got a nice little pop here in W4. Sell the ask.
Order pending.
Come on, hit it.
Order filled.
Hit it.
Position closed.
There we go. Pretty good entry right here, huh? I don't know. Every once in a while, Dum Dum gets one right. What do you think? Is that going to be the low of the day? I don't know. We got 3 more minutes left. They could flush it here. Correct. Brad is telling us we have a very important earnings event after the close in NVIDIA, which is going to move the S&P and the NASDAQ especially around. Okay, they generally don't report till 4:20.
Order filled.
But thank you for the reminder, Brad. That is, yes, it is true. Cancel all orders. All right, there we go. All right. The template, if you're not a member of my community, if you're a member of my community, it's in Discord. Okay, so if you're a member of my community, it's in Discord. If you're not, I'll give everybody a way to fill out the form that will send you the template. Okay, it's called a desktop. I believe it's at 420, man. 420, man. All right, just long right over here. One last one. We'll see if we can get inside the bands. I don't know if the TickBlaze people are still here, but if you have other specific TickBlaze questions, you can pop them in there. We'll see if we can get them all answered. All right, one more minute. Let's get a little sell limit in up here. See if we can.
Order pending.
Go, baby. Go, baby. I need this to move up a little bit. See, this wasn't showing over here. It's kind of weird. That is important. We're not seeing this over here.
Order modified.
Going lower. Interesting. Okay. So this one on number 2, gotta make a little note of that. Make a little note of that.
Position synchronized. Order filled.
Here we go. All right, got a 2 lot on. Little bounce. If someone could tell me how to turn closed captioning on, I thought the closed captioning is something that you turn on. You turn on your side. Am I not correct on that? I thought you can just turn it on your side.
Order filled.
All right, folks. Well, this was a good. It says CC unavailable. Interesting. All right. Well, maybe it's something I turn on over here. Maybe it's something I turn on over here. Create highlighted video, display ads, channel pop out, send feedback. Let's see how I do it. All right. I will. All right. I'll figure it out. Again, I always thought it was a setting that you used that.
Position synchronized. Position closed. Order filled. Position open.
You know who I need to get on my stream is the tech guys at TickBlaze so they could see what happened here. I was able to figure it out, but on the Renko tick charts near the close and another high periods of time, you get a temporary mismatch between the real rhythmic position and the position, so it causes this issue here. So I'm going to make a little timestamp. I just need to enable it. Yeah, I get it, but I don't know where to enable it on here. I have it enabled on. It's funny. I'm I'm responding to someone who's not able to hear me, so that doesn't really work. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out where to enable it. I have it enabled on my. I'll figure out how to enable it on mine. All right, everybody, that will be it for today. Remember, there is NVIDIA earnings in about 15, 20 minutes, and that's going to whip some things around, so just be aware of that. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Let me one more time give you the website to go to if you want. Just go to tradersdevgroup.com/PropShop. This is all in the description below. Okay, use the code that you see on the click settings from the left-hand menu, playback and performance. Does that do it in real time too? Click settings. Where the hell are settings? Channel level settings. I only have overlay and monetization on the channel level settings. That's all I have. Under settings is overlay and monetization defaults. It's one ChatGPT away. Al, you remember, right? Where's the template in I have it both in PropShop Trader, so it's right here in PropShop Trader. So go to the PropShop Trader channel, and it's also in the TickBlaze channel. Look at us. We actually thought through this. So it's in the TickBlaze channel here. Right here. Okay, so you just need to download this and install it. Download it and install it.
Order filled. Position closed. Order filled. Position closed.
All right. If you're not a member, the way you get the template is by purchasing PropShop, and then we will find a way to get it to people. You can tune back in on the stream. I have the form set up, but I wasn't able to test it. As soon as I can test the form, what I'll do is drop a form in here, or I'll send an email to everybody that purchases, and it will be a simple form that you can just sign up, and we'll send you out the template. All right, now this is messed up because this is not showing over here, and now I'm seeing it. So this is why we're testing. Some of you are going to see some of these issues too. We'll work through them. See this account, W4? Oh, hopefully it shows. All right, good. This one does show. All right.
Order modified.
All right. Maybe we can stick around and see if I can get to almost break even here. I did not even know that I was in this position. It must have had I'm not sure. I rested an order when I first started here, the stream, and I got all crazy in the NASDAQ. Friends don't let friends trade the NASDAQ. Yeah. Thank you, Ashley. It's right here. It does this. It does this stuff. Which account was it? It was like this account. I'll provide them the logs too. Yeah, it's all this stuff right here. Ooh. I need a rectangle that doesn't look like that. All right, there. All right. I'm going to close this trade and get flat. Drag this into here.
Order modified.
There you go.
Filled. Position closed.
Now, folks, just like on Ninja or other platforms, what you want to do when you're done for the day is you come over to the orders and you right-click and you hit cancel all orders. So you want to make sure you got all your orders canceled. You go to positions. This does look like it's synced up now with Rhythmic, I hope. I don't have a Rhythmic open. And then we go to accounts, and there you go. That's the total P&L for the day. All right, you guys can all do this. Doesn't mean we make money every single day, but what we do is when we're having unprofitable days, we just control. Let's not eat like a bird and shit like an elephant. As long as you do that, TickBlaze and all these programs will be great resources for you folks. And if you do it the TDG way, do it properly, you'll also be on the path to a transition to what a lot of people aspire to, which is real live trading and real live markets. Now, I don't know why everyone does aspire to that. I'm making 25 grand a month from 3 firms trading funny money, and I hope they never put me live. There's 2 of them that I'm actually going to have to just stop because they want to consolidate it and put it into a live account, actually over at T3 where I introduced them, and I don't want to do that because I don't need more hassle. I don't need more capital that way. But you folks could probably realistically pull real significant money over the course of the next year out of PropShop prior to being taken live. And if you do it extremely well on a risk-adjusted basis, many of you might have the opportunity to go live sooner if that's something that's important to you. All right, I think that will officially be it for today. Remember, now we're probably only about 10 minutes away from a decent amount of volatility when the NVIDIA earnings comes out. Stay green, trade like you mean it. Thank you, everybody, for your time today. Thanks, Ashley and the team over at PropShop for helping with this launch. Remember, the sale is only going to go through Saturday, and then there'll be some new specials and things. Tune in tomorrow if you'd like. We'll have more information, and I'll probably have the form that you can use to make sure you get the template, and we'll get everyone taken care of. If you're watching this on a replay, please leave any questions or comments down in the comment section. And know how YouTube works. If you say something nasty or snarky, I don't delete it. I rather fight with you in comments. I think it's fun. But if you have something constructive to say, try to say it in a constructive manner so that the comment can actually make it through the YouTube filter and be on the stream. That will be it. Stay green, trade like you mean it. Thank you very much. Be good. Bye.